That's the voice of the great Ronnie Lott joining us here on Trojans Live. And Ronnie, I don't know if you went home after the game and you watched that UCLA-Stanford game, but it certainly brought up something that I would love to ask you about, which is where football's going now with this balance of they were calling targeting and ejecting players left and right in that one for what back in your day would certainly be considered just a garden variety tackle. Where do you think the sport needs to go in terms of the balance of, hey, protecting players' health, but also allowing guys like yourself to be able to play football?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, and it's a question that obviously whether it's pro ball or whether it's little league ball or whether it's Pop Warner, whether it's college ball, and we're all learning the redefinition of hitting. And the redefinition of hitting has changed. And one of the things that I learned a long time ago is that remember when they changed the strike zone in baseball, and there were a lot of guys that were complaining about the strike zone. And then you had a guy like Barry Bonds who said, "No, I'm not going to complain. I'm going to adjust. And I'm going to work at my craft, and I'm going to get better." And my point to you is that that's where this game's at right now. It's a game that has changed. It's a game that doesn't allow the helmet to get involved and engaged into hitting. It's a game that you have to use your shoulder. It's a game that now says that you can't hit anywhere above the shoulders. And so all of a sudden, which I find that, and people always ask me, "Hey, Ronnie, what would you do?" First of all, you got to learn. And I'm capable of learning. I'm capable of getting better. I'm capable of knowing that I can do this. And yes, people always say, "Well, what do you mean you could do that? It's so quick. It's so quick for a fastball to change and get into a certain position. And yet you still have to be disciplined. You still have to work at it. You still have to see the ball." And my point is, that is why you have to be able to work and practice your craft. One of the things that Pete Carroll is doing up in Seattle is they work at it. They go after it. I mean, I had a chance to see the videos. I've had a chance to talk to Pete around what it takes to be a hitter in today's game, and that is different. And so you have to lead with your shoulder. You have to use your shoulder. And my point is that all of a sudden, we're now redefining what a big hit or what a great hit is going to look like. And for all of us, it's going to take time. And I saw the hit the other day in the UCLA game, and I felt bad for the young man. But at the same time, the rules are the rules. And I know, Coach Moore, because I've known him for a long time, and I know that he feels like some of these rules are not what they should be, and yet we got to be able to stick to what these referees are looking and seeing. And that's the hardest part because it's new to them. And it's new to them, and the reason it's new to them is that it's now all of a sudden something that they have to pay attention to, and they have to, pull a flag. And so one of my points around this subject is that because it's so new, we have to continue to work at it. We have to understand that every referee is going to side on the era of knowing that they have to pull the flag. So that tells me that when I go into a game, I have to be prepared to know that my head cannot get anywhere near hitting someone in the person's other head, in that person's head. I cannot look at that as a way of bringing that person down. So I have to eliminate a lot. It takes a lot of practice, takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of effort of staying after practice, changing what you used to do, changing a lot of things. But that's what one of the great things is if you really want to play the game, do it the right way.
Yeah.
And not only do it the right way, but do it in a way where you're not hurting your team. Help your team. And I hear a lot of fans always say, "Oh, but at the same time, we can't have it both ways. We can't say, well, we want the big hits, but at the same time, We want to protect people. We want safety. And I'd much rather have safety. I would much rather protect guys. I'd much rather do it the right way, and just knowing what I know and knowing the game of rugby and knowing what I've seen and knowing, I know one of the head coaches at Cal that plays rugby, and he has always said that, the efforts of what we see of using that shoulder and the way that they've done an excellent job. And I got to believe that there's tape, there's a lot of moments where we can learn from that sport and learn not only to make it a great game, make it a better game, and make it a safer game.
That's great stuff from the legend Ronnie Lott, one of the hardest hitters in the history of the game, telling that everyone in the sport time to learn, time to adapt if the sport's going to have a future. So thank you, Ronnie Lott, for joining us on Trojans Live. Awesome seeing you on the sideline on Saturday. Big game coming up this Friday. JJ and I are going to break it down next on Trojans Live.